What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. What up? Back with another reaction video. You have been warned. This video probably has profanity, so if language is not a thing you really like, this content is not for you. And I haven't even watched the video, but it comes from the Math Hoffa podcast, my expert opinion or whatever it's called, but actually one of my favorite podcasts. I haven't watched it in quite some time. Pretty much ever since I started doing my channel, I've just been so busy I haven't really been paying attention to his podcast, but it brings a whole lot of different guests in there, legends, hip-hop legends, entrepreneurs, people from all circles of life, and they just come in and have some real conversations, and I love it. So looks like Dwight Howard was on Math Hoffa's podcast, and this segment is Kobe versus LeBron. Dwight gives his take on who is better and why. So this is going to be interesting. Dwight played with Kobe when there were expectations for Dwight, and he played with LeBron when Dwight was a role player, so there were no expectations for him. So I'm curious to see how he answers this question. I expect him to say LeBron is better and that he prefers LeBron, especially considering he won a championship with LeBron James as a role player. So I could be wrong. We'll see. I noticed Dwight Howard's been doing a lot of appearances ever since that rumor came around or started swirling about those allegations, but I ain't even gonna get into that. Anywho, let's get into it. For the record, I'm not a Dwight Howard fan. Real quick. So that's Math Hoffa right there in the white shirt. For those that don't know, just to tell you about Math Hoffa, he came up as a in the rap battle scene, right? Smack DVD, URL, all that stuff. He came up as a battle rapper, and then from there, a smart guy transitioned into entrepreneurship and started his own podcast, and now he's more than just a rapper. In fact, I don't even think he battle raps anymore. Pretty sure he's retired, but he's definitely a legendary battle rapper and one of the best to ever do it. Hoffa.
All right, what's the difference between being on a team with Kobe and a team with LeBron?
See, I was at different stages of my life and career with both players. So with Kobe, I was super young. I was in my prime. Not that I was egotistical, but I felt highly of myself because of my accomplishments.
Right.
And I've never had a superstar teammate. So I think we bumped heads because of the age gap for one, and me just never experiencing what it's like to have another, alpha star like that on the team.
Right.
I don't think we bumped heads a lot like Paul's. I know he was waiting. He was waiting over that time. Yeah. As soon as I said that, but man, we got into it, but it was more so because the age gap. And as I got older, I started to realize that more of how he felt. And as a young ball player, you're not seeing that. You think the game lasts forever. And, when you get older, you see, hey, I ain't got that same amount of time and energy to put into this, that, and the third.
Right.
And it seemed like we fell out, but it wasn't really like we fell out. We just had some disagreements on the court like any other team and any other teammate. But, man, Kobe and LeBron. LeBron almost act like somebody from the South Side of Georgia. Yeah, we act kind of like twins, joking, silly, have a good time. We get on the court, we still gonna have a good time, but we gonna dominate. Kobe ain't bullshitting with nobody. He might not come to the locker room and talk. And everybody like, so he just gonna walk all the way past us. Not got nobody up, give a head nod or nothing. He just walked past us. But, you know, that's just how he would come in. I guess now looking back on it, he probably was doing that just to get everybody ready for practice because we too loud. He coming in there, we joking around, laughing. But, you know, he was just a little different. He was just serious different in his approach. Yeah, but that's Kobe. That's what made him who he is.
Mamba mentality.
I think, see, what do you think what he mean by the Mamba mentality?
I think going through the things that Kobe went through, especially like fighting the case and all that stuff, but still lacing up and getting on the court and putting up his numbers. I think that's where that Mamba mentality comes from. That, I block everything out. All I see is the game. Even though all this shit, these headlines and all that shit is going down, I block everything out. It's like, that's it. I'm on it.
I thought he was on that before the case. To me, it just seemed like
it got worse.
Chasing Jordan was all it was.
That's what I was gonna say.
Whatever happens, fuck all this other stuff. Nah, that guy. I gotta catch those rings. I gotta be compared to that. Like, he's one. I gotta be number one. I gotta beat him. And it just felt like nothing else was as important as catching Mike.
Right.
But I think after I feel like he wasn't trying to. I feel like he started out trying to catch Mike. And then after a while he said, I'm Kobe Bryant. I don't need to catch Mike. I could just do me. Because literally everything Michael Jordan did, he did it times two.
You think?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Jordan was a mid-range shooter. Kobe could shoot threes. Jordan, I think Kobe played, I can't say he played better defense than Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan had a defensive player.
Well, it's two different eras.
That's true. But Kobe played in both eras.
Dwight Howard is losing a lot of basketball credibility right now, and I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. What are you talking about, dog? Oh, my God.
But Kobe played in the latter end of Jordan's era.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like Kobe, skill-wise, he could do more than Jordan.
But Jordan had that game where Jordan could shoot threes. He just wasn't his main thing to shoot.
He wasn't as efficient.
Right.
So he stuck with the twos.
Jordan? Nah, see, the Jordan argument, it's always going to come down to this, bro.
Six rings.
Always going to come down to this. If you can't do this, that's going to be the one thing that a person is always going to be able to say. But
So then what about Bill Russell? Is he the greatest?
Totally different era.
But he got 12 rings. You just just did like this.
The greatest.
Evan.
Okay, here's how I've always looked at this. There's the best, and then there's the greatest. You may not be the greatest and still be the best, right? Greatest, I've always attributed to accolades. Grammys, Oscars, rings, like greatness as far as what you can hold.
Tangible.
Tangible. That's the word I was looking for. Meanwhile, the best is the guy who will smoke the greatest if all things were even. If all things were even, 10 times out of 10, I'm a dog walk you. Like you can't do anything with me. But you have all the accolades, et cetera, et cetera. So I looked at Bill Russell as like the greatest winner in the NBA off the strength of all those rings.
Right.
Was he a better? Nah, the skills weren't as honed. It wasn't as refined. The game was different, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So you can't even. It's a bad
a wash.
comparison.
It's a wash.
But winning wise, yes, the greatest winner in the history of the NBA, hands down. He runs out of fingers.
Right.
Okay.
But skill wise, the best player.
What about Kareem then?
Same thing.
How?
As far as what? No, I don't call him the greatest winner.
I'm talking about the best player.
He's one of them.
So,
He's one of them.
So the best player would be who to you?
I think all around game is probably Jordan.
all-around game.
All around,
Jordan.
all around. When you say the best, I start thinking of in all areas. Where was there a weakness? Where was there something he couldn't do? And Jordan, and I'm talking to an NBA player, so this is just me talking. I'm not. These aren't facts. It's just my feeling. I looked at Jordan as having the best, or being the best all-around overall NBA player. Defense, offense, assists, like whatever it was necessary, he had it in the bag, and he could excel at it.
True.
And when you get the intangibles, marketing, et cetera, like globalizing the game, everybody went like putting the campaign behind him, which is different.
I mean, the man took a year off, came back, and got 3 more rings, bro.
Then there's that.
Went and played baseball.
Yeah.
And golf.
Wasn't good at it.
Always played golf.
But I think what's missing real quick is the fact that we take away the whole thing of the generational situation, like how basketball evolved over time. Think about how Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing ball back then with skippies on a Converse on flat freaking ground. And Hoochie Daddy shorts. And then it evolved, and you see Jordan doing astronomical things because things changed. The environment, the people,
and then there's a generation who saw Jordan who enters the NBA, and after a while, you see all this greatness, and now every team has like 2 superstars, 3 superstars. Like at any given moment, like we're pretty much rolling the dice when it comes to who's going to be in the championship now. It's like, I don't know.
Imagine Jordan's skill set with Steph Curry's mentality. Like it had Steph into the way he switched up, changed the league. It's now no longer an ISO game. It's a team game. And he's shooting from the half court damn near and hitting them. Imagine that, the step back. Jordan never had a step back. He never, they didn't
Euro
have step
steps
back,
and all that.
The Euro, like so many different.
Who do you think is the greatest player?
I think it's 1A and 1B with Kareem and Jordan.
Kareem and Jordan?
And then LeBron right there.
And then LeBron right
and
there.
Kobe.
Then Kobe.
Kobe, you put LeBron before Kobe.
It's like they like 2 and 3. Well, 3 and 4. I'm sorry.
Right. Leave it in the comments. I know y'all about to
y'all about to wild
leave it in the comments.
They gonna say LeBron. Everybody say LeBron.
I think Kobe.
They gonna say Kobe. They gonna say Kobe.
You got something that's gonna say LeBron though.
Yeah, I mean facts, but
It's a lot.
I saw a lot
They
of
don't never put big man. Why is no big man ever put in these
because
categories?
y'all are closer to the rim, man.
That makes it
too
harder.
easy.
That makes it harder.
It doesn't look like that.
What do you mean?
How does it make it harder?
Okay, so for Kareem to score how many points? 38,000, something like that, without threes. You don't think that's harder?
No, that's definitely hard.
He scored the same amount of points LeBron did in less time with no threes and in a different era. You don't think that's harder?
I agree with that.
Even though the basket's right there, it's harder to get to the rim because you're playing against people that's big too. What do you like? And they blocking off the paint. It's not just that easy.
Right.
So I feel like it would be harder to score in the paint than you shooting jump shots and stuff like that because the guy can give you space. But in the paint, it's no space. You got to
Physical
create
contact.
space, and you always fighting for position. You fighting to do everything. You got to jump in the paint.
Right, but there's probably one other person on the court that can actually block you.
That's not true.
Because they
not
beating
true.
you up the moment you come to the hole, pause, they beating you up.
That's a pause.
Yeah, that's
What you say after that? Pause that too.
double pause, but yeah.
Gat, you deserve all.
Hold on.
Nice.
Pause, I'm gonna pause this. Once you're a big man, pause. And you're going to the hole, you're gonna get beat up every time.
Correct.
That's why you gotta know those fights. Because you was getting beat up every time you went to the hole.
But see, yeah, and then they tell us y'all are strong, so y'all could take the punishment of people hitting y'all and stuff like that. So it might be a little different.
Right.
When the guards go to the hole, they get fouled, they gonna call it. But for us, we get they're not. So it's gonna be. I think it's harder for the
Is
big
that
man
why
to
they say
score.
LeBron flops a lot?
I don't know what they
That's
say.
that's my understanding.
That he flop a lot.
That I feel like, yo, for a big man, you have to like flop for them to be like, yo, I got it.
They're not gonna call a foul. Every time I would flop in a game, you know what everybody say? He too soft, man. Why is he flopping? Why you flopping, Dwight? What you doing? That's what everybody's saying, bro. You gotta flop. Everybody telling me, yo, you gotta try to let them see that you're getting fouled.
Right.
That shit don't work.
But that
LeBron, though.
It don't work for LeBron.
Not all the time.
You saw it. What about when they played in Boston? He ran around the whole court crying. And Pat Beverly had the
Came out.
You know, and he did get fouled in that game in Boston. He legitimately got fouled. They missed it. Like, see, Dwight been saying a lot of wrong stuff this podcast, but LeBron is a notorious flopper, and yes, he's gotten away with a lot. I'm just saying.
The camera like, look, that's a foul. LeBron was on the ground like, please, look, that's a like, come on, you see, everybody knows.
That shit is crazy.
That's the fact.
How do you perfect the flop?
You can't just no flopping, man. Just who?
Just who?
Just go take it and finish.
That's it.
Pause. This nigga's crazy.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is shit.
To piggyback off that one cat said, I don't know who he was. Kobe Bryant, he's right. Kobe Bryant has always had the Mamba mentality. Even back when he was just coming in as a Laker, he's always been wired like that. The ideology just didn't have a name. He didn't give it a name yet. All right. He dubbed himself the Black Mamba in the 2005-2006 season, with inspiration from Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. And it was a little bit after that where he coined the phrase Mamba mentality. But that mentality's always been there. He just gave it a name. I know what the Mamba mentality is. So it's like a constant quest to, be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. And a lot goes into that. His drive, his tenacity. But to quote Kobe Bryant, when asked about the Mamba mentality, this is what Kobe Bryant said. It means to be able to constantly try to be the best version of yourself. That is what the mentality is. It's a constant quest to try to be better today than you were yesterday. Mamba mentality is all about focusing on the process and trusting in the hard work when it matters most. It's the ultimate mantra for the competitive spirit. There's actually a book. He put out a book before he passed away called The Mamba Mentality. I went and bought a copy. Currently in storage because I've been doing a lot of moving around, so I haven't actually got a chance to read it. But when I finally get all settled in and figure out what the hell I'm doing with my life, I will crack that book open and dive deep into it because there's a lot of insightful stuff when I was just breezing through the pages. But I don't know if they still sell the book. I don't know if it was like a limited time thing or not. But if you're into that kind of stuff and some deep context and some deep reading, I would recommend it. And I already know what it is without actually reading it yet, but knowing the type of guy Kobe Bryant is. Dwight Howard was smoking crack when this guy started saying Kobe was Jordan but double or something like that or twice as whatever. I don't know what he said. It's basically saying that Kobe did what Jordan did but better. I'm like, listen, there were some things that I think Kobe did better, but Jordan did a lot more things better than Kobe Bryant. Sorry. And while I believe Kobe was a little bit better with range, and yes, they played in different eras. Jordan did play some in the 2000s when he came back with the Wizards, and he was still effective. To say Michael Jordan couldn't shoot threes, Dwight Howard's wrong. All right, there was even a season, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure for at least one season, Jordan shot at least 40% from three-point land. And it wasn't something that he focused on so much in his era. It wasn't. But the other thing is, he goes from saying Kobe was this much better than Mike, or did these many things better, which started leading me to believe that he was about to say Kobe's better than Michael, but then he said when he lists his overall ranking, he had Michael Jordan right there at the top, and then Kobe behind MJ, Kareem, and LeBron. So I'm not sure where he was getting at there, but it is what it is. As I predicted, I knew Dwight Howard would say that he'd put LeBron over Kobe. Like, I knew it. Actually, let me get back to that. I wanted to get back to what he was saying about when him and Kobe played together. Yes, for the first time in Dwight Howard's life, you come to the Lakers with Kobe Bean Bryant, who was hell-bent on winning a championship. He is not with all that tomfoolery and BS that Dwight Howard brings to the table. Now, Kobe Bryant would be more lenient if you sit here all jovial and jokey in the locker room, but when you get out on the court, you lock in. Because Shaq was like that. But when Shaq got out on the court, he locked in. And they were always on the same page, and they were both trying to kill people. Dwight Howard wasn't triggered like that. He wasn't going out on the court with that mentality. He didn't have that Mamba mentality. He didn't. And then what rubbed Kobe the wrong way, and you can debate whether Kobe's right or he's wrong, however you look at it, is that Dwight Howard wasn't willing to play through pain / injury, and I was really bugging Kobe because he's like, man, we need you out on the court. We're trying to get this thing together. We're trying to put this team together. We're trying to bring these people together. We got a lot of new pieces. We need you out on the court, especially on the defensive end. And Dwight Howard was only concerned about his touches. Problem is, you're in the Mike D'Antoni offense. He doesn't like to feed the post like that. He likes to run pick and rolls with his big men. 2, Dwight, you didn't have the full skill set for just dumping it in the post and let you go to work in ISO. He didn't. I'm not saying he was garbage, but he wasn't no Shaq. He wasn't no Wilt Chamberlain. He wasn't no Hakeem. He wasn't no Joker. He wasn't no Pau Gasol. Hell, he wasn't even Andrew Bynum offensively in the post. He wasn't. So that was the other thing. Anywho, and Dwight just didn't always have the work ethic either. Like, he didn't want to work so much with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on his game to try to help him out. So there's a whole lot of stuff that rubbed Kobe the wrong way, rightfully so. Like he said, Dwight's out here joking around, and Kobe's like, man, I ain't got much time, man. I'm here to win a championship. Why are you here? If our goals aren't aligned, you need to get the hell out, because I can't have you here. And then he comes back to Lakers with Bron. He's a role player. There's no expectations. There's really not much of a demand. And though I think he played well as a role player. He came in big for some games, and he definitely could have played more minutes, but wasn't in the playbook in the grand scheme of things. But I fully expected him to say LeBron was better, considering he won a chip with Bron and LeBron James and Dwight Howard. Like Dwight mentioned, they have a better connection. It's like, because I'm like, bro, I know you was on that team. You saw Kobe literally sacrifice his body to will that team into the playoffs, and unfortunately tearing his Achilles and not even being able to lace up to play the San Antonio Spurs in the first round. So it is what it is. But I thought that was hilarious when he said, so you're saying LeBron better than Kobe? He looked at the camera and said, drop them comments. He knew it was coming. He knew it was coming. The Kobe versus LeBron feud has started. Dwight Howard is taking Bron over the Black Mamba. That's funny. I thought that was hilarious. That whole Lakers season was a mess anyway. I never thought they should have fired Mike Brown. It's like they had Mike Brown, one end of the spectrum, all about defense, which I prefer. Then they fired him for Mike D'Antoni, opposite side of the spectrum, all offense, no defense. And we just had an old roster. We weren't equipped to really run a Mike D'Antoni kind of offense that he was looking to run. And then Kobe was getting pissed off because he's trying to preach defense, and Mike D'Antoni don't want nothing to it. And then eventually he started backing down to the Mamba, and all of a sudden you hear Mike D'Antoni started preaching about defense in the post-game pressers and stuff. And I was like, Kobe got a hold of your neck, don't he? See, historically, when people try to bring up defense, players try to bring up defense to Mike, he shuts them down. He shuts him down. That's not gonna work with Kobe. Yeah, it's not. He's too much of a personality. He's too much of an aura. He's bringing 5 championships to the table. D'Antoni's bringing none. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna tell Kobe? Yeah, when we're not playing defense, we're not gonna focus on defense. Kobe nipped that shit in the bud. I remember that. That was hilarious. Anywho, that's all I gotta say about it. There was more. I meant to write some notes because I get forgetful of things, so I start forgetting things. So I don't. There was some more points I wanted to touch on, but you guys let me know your opinion on the situation. If you like hip hop, if you're a fan of hip hop, go check out Math Office Podcast. You'll like it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and I catch you on the next one. We out, baby.